Welcome back. I got a Blu Ray update for you guys. A few titles that I've purchased and watched, and I wanted to share my thoughts on those. First up is 1985's Street Walking, directed by Joan Freeman and produced by her husband Robert Alden. I think it's a Roger Corman film. For some reason, this is on a Scream Factory release. Scream and Shout are starting to kind of blend together the titles they release. So it's strange. This Scream is apparently no longer horror, but I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. This film stars Melissa Leo, who becomes a streetwalker, prostitute, and the film demonstrates that lifestyle in kind of a melodramatic way, not a sleazy way, but a melodramatic way. It's a decent film. It's not great, and I can kind of see why Joan Freeman didn't do a whole lot from a directorial standpoint. She just doesn't have a very compelling style. I just didn't think, other than maybe the fact that this might be some kind of an '80s Renaissance film that people latch onto because it's part of their when they were growing up. They saw it, and I mean, it's just not a good movie, really. I give it a 5 out of 10. I don't even think I gave it a 5 out of 10. I think I gave it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, 4 out of 10. I just thought it was tedious and uninteresting. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it. But yeah, that's Street Walking. It does have an audio commentary track with Joan and her, I guess it's still her husband, Robert Alden. And then it's got a trailer. I listened to the audio commentary. I was curious to see what earth-shattering things she could explain, but I mean, they kind of approach it like it was a great movie, and this is, it was a scene-by-scene kind of explanation. It didn't really go into, other than kind of answering to Roger Corman and what that was like, which they didn't really offer anything new material-wise that would have compelled me to like it more. Anyway, that's Street Walking. I don't even know why I bought that, to be honest with you. Next up, I guess because I think it was part of a limited release. It was starting to go out of print. That might have been why. Here's another one I think is, I believe, is going soon out of print. Is Caged Heat double feature. Caged Heat in Jackson County Jail. This is Roger Corman, Chicks and Chains films. Caged Heat was one that kind of led the charge, and it's a decent film, but I really like Jackson County Jail. Tommy Lee Jones stars in Jackson County Jail, and he was great in it. I think it was his first role. He was fantastic. Both films are good. There's audio commentaries from the director Jonathan Demme, who went on to do Silence of the Lambs. So yeah, it's a good release, and the print quality, picture quality, and sound is great. So definitely recommend that release. Next up is a French release from Mondo Macabro. This is two early '70s French films. Jean-Louis Bell really made these two films, low-budget sexploitation flicks, Pertissimo, and then The Lady Kills. There's about a 30-minute lengthy special feature that goes into who is the director, who is this guy. Very interesting avant-garde director. Coming out of the early '70s, he directed these two films with not a lot of money. Production values were great on these. I mean, considering the fact that he did it with virtually no money, the production values were fantastic. The Lady Kills is a straight revenge flick. This woman sees her sister raped, and then she's got it out for wealthy businessmen. The problem with the film is it takes a while to get going. It's just slow. A lot of scenes of people walking around, a lot of shots of scenery and things like that, which is nice if you never, it gives you a good glimpse of France and Paris in the early '70s. But from a story perspective, it's not a lot going on until like 40 minutes in. Pervertissimo is the kind of a similar story. I mean, it's a woman that works for a sleazy editor that wants to go. He challenges her to go around and interview and research kinky individuals, and she meets up with this strange doctor that wants to turn people into sex robots. But again, the problem with the films is they take so long to get going. I mean, but it's a lot of pretty women to look at. Other than that, I think it's just it's one of those that's kind of a one and done type deal. And then finally, a classic Hammer film, The Devil Rides Out. This is a Scream Factory release, and I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen Devil Rides Out so many times I don't have to see it. It's based on a Dennis Wheatley book about Satanists, and of course it stars Christopher Lee in one of his good guy roles, although he looks kind of menacing with his mustache and goatee. He looks kind of menacing, but he's actually the good guy in this. It's a great film, and when Devil Rides Out is one of those films that, when I think about it and what could be done in today's technology, this is one of those films that stands out as a movie that would be a great opportunity for someone to redo with today's technology. I think the film was super ambitious for Hammer budgets. I think the special features in this film are serviceable, but given Hammer's budget restraints, I mean, it was just never going to be something super spectacular. But still, it's a great story, as is Hammer films. Great story, well acted, superbly acted, great sets. It's just this is a type of film that needed some money thrown at some special features, and just Hammer just didn't have it at the time. Great film though, and this has a new audio commentary, a number of special features with this that are new from other releases that are out there. You've got Steve Haberman commentary. You've got a new little segment on folk horror. Jonathan Rigby, of course, is on here. Satanic Shocks, Kim Newman, he's always interesting to listen to. And then you've got there's a poured over commentary with Christopher Lee and Sarah Lawson, and then Black Magic, The Making of Devil Rides Out. I think that's a poured over as well. There's also Dennis Wheatley at Hammer. Dennis Wheatley produced a lot of, wrote a lot of satanic books, and Christopher Lee at the time was a super, like a mega expert on all things Dennis Wheatley. Maybe a little tame in today's world, but at the time it was pretty challenging stuff. This is interesting. Now look at the insert. Has got that looks like a French. I guess that's a French poster for it. That's interesting. Anyway, great film. It's kind of a must-own, I think. Devil Rides Out. All right, well, I do have some other stuff coming for the October Horror Challenge, and as soon as that comes in, I will share it with you. If you have any of those titles or have any comments below, feel free to leave them below. Thanks.